Hey folks, David Dole here. First of all, yes, you cannot see me because I hurt my neck. If you haven't watched the other video yet where I talk about this, yeah, I hurt my neck. I'm not sure how. I pulled something or I don't know, I pinched a nerve. I don't really know. The point is, it would look weird if I was on screen right now because I need to be in a certain sort of leaning down position to be comfortable. So that's where I am right now. But that hasn't stopped me from talking about one of the biggest pieces of news ever, and that's today, October 17th, 2018. Cannabis, recreational cannabis, has become legal in Canada. That's right. This is something we all knew was coming, but it's here. And you know what? Not much has changed. So, look, the state of cannabis in Canada, and I would say, at least a large portion of the U.S. as well, is that it's effectively been illegal. It's effectively been legal for many people, especially white people, to be honest, in these countries. So if you were already smoking before, you're still going to be doing it now. A lot of people, I think, are still going to be going to their dealers until the whole the federal or slash province provincial marijuana gets figured out. If there are long lines, that sort of thing. So, I mean, for example, right now in Ontario, there are no physical stores to buy cannabis. You can only purchase online from our provincial retailer, the Ontario Cannabis Store, and every time you order, it's a flat shipping fee of $5, and the selection, while the selection is good, I was actually impressed by the selection for a first day. It's not what many people already have access to. So the selection in terms of the actual cannabis, there is a lot there. I'm not somebody who is super into knowing what the strains are and blah blah blah. My knowledge of marijuana is basically I know sativa, I know indica, and that's it. So I don't have that deep of knowledge. But also in terms of things like accessories and bongs and pipes. So you can actually also buy that stuff from the Ontario Cannabis Store, but you can also buy that stuff in a lot of different shops. So there are portions of this that just doesn't feel like the legalization is as big as we all sort of expected it to maybe feel. But that's simply because it, as I said, already has been sort of legal for a while. But the one big piece of news that came out today is that the Liberal Party is finally going to start pardoning people with cannabis possession on their record. So great step. That should have already been in the existing bill, but at least they're addressing that now on the very first day. So good move there by the Liberal Party. This has been an issue that the Green Party and the NDP have been fighting for quite a while now. So I'm glad the Liberals have finally caught up. But yeah, I don't know. Things don't feel all that different. Now, I do want to go over some facts on exactly how it's been legalized here. So the legal age is 19 in every territory and province except for Alberta and Quebec, where it is 18. And I believe it's 18 there because that matches their age, their legal age for alcohol as well. So it's a lot of the provinces sort of try to keep it in line with where their laws are in terms of alcohol. For plants per household, so you are able to grow your own marijuana, you can have 4 plants per household. I believe that number is across the board for all provinces and territories. So that's a federally regulated number. And the public possession limit, this is also the same for all provinces and territories, is 30 grams. So you can have up to 30 grams on you in public. And you can, in fact, fly with it as long as you are within Canada. So if you're flying from, Toronto to Ottawa or Vancouver to, I don't know, Halifax, you can, in fact, have marijuana on you. Now, the other part of this that is not going to be talked about because it really doesn't have to do with cannabis, but now that cannabis is legalized, this is where we should be going. And that's the legalization and regulation of psychedelics. So, yes, plant medicine, psilocybin mushrooms, MDMA, ayahuasca, these sorts of psychedelics that have now been proven to help people. Help people with anxiety, help people with depression, help people with a whole series of mental health issues. That PTSD is another big one. That, I mean, the science, a lot of the science is in on this. There has now been years and years and years of studies, and thousands and thousands of anecdotal evidence of it helping people's lives, whether it's from PTSD, whether it's someone like me who has experienced lifelong anxiety. So this is where we have to go. Now, for me, cannabis legalization is, it's good in the sense that, I mean, we had to do it. It just makes, this is obviously where everything was going. It had to be legalized. But for me, I see it as a stepping stone to the legalization and regulation of psychedelics, which for me is really where people will be helped. I mean, look, I know a lot of people are helped from cannabis consumption, especially if you have problems with sleeping. It does help with anxiety and a number of other issues. But for me, I really see psychedelics as the potential game changer for how our society evolves. Psychedelics open your mind. They open your mind and they make you more empathetic. So in addition to helping you with, various mental health issues, they also help people become able to relate to others that are not in their position. So empathy right now is a huge problem, I think, in really the world as a whole, but especially, in the West. I mean, there is not, a week that goes by that I think, what if Donald Trump had, just a 2-week ayahuasca excursion, drank 4 times, was in a traditional, what's it called? The Maloka, the house where you drink the ayahuasca, with a shipibo, a proper man, I'm forgetting all the words now. See, clearly legalization of marijuana is not a good idea. It leads to memory loss. No, so I did, how about this? I will tell you about my experience because I have a personal experience with ayahuasca. Now, this, I'm not breaking, any news here. If you want to go online and look up my name and ayahuasca, you will find, I think, a 40-minute video that I shot maybe 3-4 years ago after my ayahuasca experience, talking about, really going into detail about the entire experience of being there. But yeah, it's, so for me, it was more about anxiety. It was more about dealing with anxiety and trying to get over that, but also depression. So I had serious depression at the time, and it was something that I don't even think I was really fully aware of until I came back and realized how much happier I was, how there really was this weight that felt like it was lifted off of me. But for me, I mean, ayahuasca is where, if you can go to a doctor, you tell your doctor, hey, look, doc, I'm going through some problems right now. I have, all this, I have all this fear. I have all this anxiety that's cropped up in me, or I've had lifelong anxiety. I have a series of these, just these very depressive episodes. How can you help me? What they usually do is they prescribe to you some pill that you are stuck on for the rest of your life. And that pill can oftentimes prevent you from having normal emotions and having a normal life. What ayahuasca does, and what psychedelics do in general, is it sort of gets rid of the cloudiness in your brain. It wipes that away. It wipes wipes your brain to sort of a clean slate where you are still you. I mean, there's all this fear about how psychedelics, oh, you're going to get stuck in the realm of craziness. You're going to be, seeing rainbows everywhere. You're going to be seeing unicorns. No, 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 no. You are still you. The difference is you are you minus all of the negativity that you have sucked into, that you've soaked in as sort of this sponge to a life, a sponge to society, all the ills of society that have been pushed onto you. So if you're someone like me that gets down about the news because the news is always negative, if you go for a week, take, I don't know, go to Peru, take some ayahuasca, make sure you look up and ensure that the place you're going to has been well documented. People have gone there. They've had great experiences, all that stuff. You ensure that the experience is going to be great. You go there. You have 3 nights where you drink. Often what they do is you drink one night, don't drink, drink one night, don't drink. So it's kind of like an on-off experience. They don't want to sort of, bury you in ayahuasca. They want to give you time to sort of process it. So if you go for a week, take 3 drinks over the course of a week, you come back, you will still feel like you are you. The difference is you will have that negative energy that you once had. That will be gone. And I'm not saying it's not going to return. It will return. But you will have, a month, 2 months, 3 months of experiencing life the way that you should be experiencing it, without that anxiety, without that depression. Now, a lot of you out there don't have these issues. And if you don't have those issues, then good. I mean, thank God for you. I am incredibly jealous of you as a person. If you have no mental health problems, you have no anxiety, no depression, you are just you, you need to know how lucky you are, first of all. But good. That means you don't need this stuff. That means you don't need ayahuasca. You don't need mushrooms. You don't need MDMA. You can maybe use them for recreational purposes. That said, also, again, if you were to use them recreationally, I would suggest doing them with somebody who is not on them, in an environment that is very safe and secluded, not in public, all that stuff. But for people that do need to use them for the benefits, then, I mean, I just can't understate how beneficial psychedelics would be to our society. It would open people up, make them more empathetic, make them realize that, there's more to life than just your ego. And it would get us to a place of understanding that, yeah, money isn't everything. Power isn't everything. And that actually joy can come from bettering the lives of those around you. People, I mean, this is some of these issues America's behind on that Canada already has, like healthcare, for example. But I think if psychedelics were to be entered into society, into American society especially, it would have a major impact. But the problem is, to get to that place, it also has to be culturally acceptable. And for it to be culturally acceptable, we have to start talking about it. We have to start being open and honest about our experiences, about how it's helped us. Because if we remain quiet about it and still treat psychedelics as this scary thing, then we're not going to evolve culturally. We're not going to change our mindset. We're not going to become aware that, hey, psychedelics have helped people, and this is how. So yeah, and I don't want to get on this too long because this was supposed to be a video about cannabis, but I noticed since Trump became president, a lot of the stories around psychedelics sort of fell off. So before Trump became president, there was, numerous stories, whether it was, Vice or, Slate, just whatever website you can think of that reports on news, reporting on psychedelics and the benefits of psilocybin mushrooms and the benefits of ayahuasca and the benefits of MDMA. I saw a lot of reports about that. And then Trump won. And it's sort of all, everything else took a backseat. I mean, not just psychedelics, everything took a backseat to what Trump was doing, to who Trump was, or who Trump is. So it's almost like we have to cleanse ourselves of the cancer before we get back to treating what was already there before as a problem, as a societal problem. So, I mean, these midterms, man. I'm not American, but Jesus Christ, if you are American and you are listening to this podcast, make sure you are registered and make sure you vote. I don't care if the person in your state, if your candidate in your district or your Senate candidate, I don't care if they aren't the perfect person. Vote for the Democrat. And this is not something I will say very ever. This is not usually what I will tell people to do, but I am telling you now. We have to get back to a place of some normalcy. Now, normalcy does not mean good. People confuse those two things. People think, oh, no, things were bad before Trump. Yes, they were. They were definitely bad before Trump. They are worse now. Everything is worse now. Things are worse for regular people, for poor people, for immigrants. Things are worse now. And not just worse for people, but worse in terms of the media landscape. The media landscape right now is all about Donald Trump. And that's a problem. The only way to get rid of him is to get rid of him through impeachment proceedings, through winning back the House, hopefully at some point winning back the Senate. So look, I am fully aware that the Trump conversation is going to continue after the midterms, of course, because he'll still be there. But we are leading up to 2020, where we can potentially rid ourselves of the cancer. And once we get to that point, we can then once again begin a proper discussion about how to fix what was broken before. And for me, a big focus of mine is fixing the mentality of people, fixing the mentality of our society. And I think the quickest and easiest way to fix that is through the use of psychedelics. First, making it more culturally acceptable through showing the research, the science behind it. And then second, pushing for actual legislation, pushing to legalize and regulate psychedelics. Now, that doesn't mean that I think you should be able to, go and order ayahuasca off Amazon. I mean, I still think that sort of having a doctor there or some sort of person in between that is able to say, okay, yes, you should use this, and here's how you should use it. I think that is important. Cannabis is a substance where it can't hurt you. Psychedelics, you have to be a little more careful. That's not to say psychedelics are dangerous. I mean, most people, this is another part of the misconception around psychedelics. They are not addictive. I'm telling you right now. If you, when I came back from doing ayahuasca in Peru, I did not want to go back. It's been 3 years and I don't want to go back. It's an experience. It's something, it's education. I mean, it's work. Being on ayahuasca, let me tell you right now, is not fun. If you go watch my 40-minute video, you're going to realize it wasn't fun while I was on it. The whole point is not to have a good time. The whole point is to actually better yourself. So if you go in with the proper intention, you get out what you put in. So that's where I feel we should be with psychedelics. We need to make it more culturally acceptable, talk about it more, push it forward as a real potential solution for a lot of people that are suffering from a variety of ailments, and not just mental health. I mean, not just anxiety, not just depression, not just PTSD, but also lack of empathy. If you are a millionaire, even a billionaire, and you at the very least are able to recognize that you do have maybe an addiction to money, an addiction to power, you should be encouraged to take a psychedelic. The amount, it's hard to even put into words how much I think that would help society. It would take a lot of the ego out of the system. The ego right now that is driving a lot of this wealth inequality. But yeah, I don't know. This was not supposed to be a 20-minute rant about psychedelics, but it turned into one. So this is what happens when I'm on a video. I just go off because you can't see that my neck is fucking killing me right now. Jesus. Okay. Anyways, thanks for listening. I know I went a bit, maybe a little too woo-woo for some of you people, but I don't know. It's perspective, right? I mean, my perspective is somebody who was definitely not into this stuff at all. The first time I smoked weed, I was in my early 20s. The first time I used a psychedelic, it was literally ayahuasca. So it was in my late 20s, and maybe that was a bad idea. Maybe I should have, eased myself into it with something else. But no, yeah, I was kind of dropped in the deep end. And I feel like that experience now has opened me up to the possibilities of really what psychedelics can do for people. So just to give you, a little window into why I am so passionate about this. All right. Anyways, thanks for listening. Hopefully I'm back on screen tomorrow. Bye.